Lots of emotions are running through, right? You gotta make sure, like, was my diet the night before good? Did I get enough sleep? You know, am I forgetting anything on the packing list? So kind of all of those things are rolling in as I roll into the parking lot.
Welcome, 2022 Best Warrior Competition. You did the hardest part of this already. You don't know. One is you volunteered to show up. Two, you showed up. So, if you ever heard General Denton or myself talk to larger audiences and leaders in this formation, you tell everybody it's about soldiers first. It's all about being mentally and physically tough. That's all that this day is about. And having a little bit of fun.
My name is Staff Sergeant Stormy White, Washington Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention out of the Lakewood office. I earned the title as Washington Army National Guard Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year by participating in the Best Warrior competition.
I'm not gonna say it was the easy part, but it's something I do regularly. It's train at the gym, run, just try to keep myself in shape to be, you know, as my job as a soldier is to be, you know, prepared and ready. I'm Specialist Eric Smith. I'm a 13 Foxtrot and 2 of the 146 Field Artillery. On March 5th, I won the Washington State National Guard Best Warrior competition for 2022.
You're about to take the Army Combat Fitness test.
I tell you how the way I practice the board is you can only control so much, right? And I've been at boards before. The things that I like to practice and the things that I like to tell a lot of people is that, hey, control what you can as best as you can. So you have complete and total control over your reporting procedures, over the creed of the non-commissioned officer, over the soldier's creed, over your bio. So those are the things that you need to really hunker down and drive in, right? And study real hard for. And so that's what I did, right? Reporting procedures, the creed of the non-commissioned officer, my bio, the soldier's creed, all of those things, so that when I displayed those things, those actions were just absolutely pristine.
No one is more professional than I. I am a non-commissioned officer, a leader of soldiers. As a non-commissioned officer, I realize that I'm a member of a time-honored corps, which is known as the backbone of the Army.
So I've been on a few boards before, and when you come out of the board, you know whether you did good or bad, generally feeling, right? For this board, I was very proud of my appearance on that board, and that's because, you know, I spent countless hours leading up to this. Shooting is a perishable skill, right? As I'm sure that we're all familiar with. And a little bit of context here, you know, before I joined the National Guard, right, to be a recruiter, I didn't have much time behind weapon systems. You know, I had a break in service where I served as a wildland firefighter, so I didn't have my hands on weapon systems like some of maybe my other competitors may or may not have had experience with. So I sought out some range opportunities for practice. I was able to get behind the M4 again right before the competition to get on the range to familiarize myself, kind of dial in those fundamentals and make sure that every shot that I put down range, it mattered, because when it came to points accumulation, I could win or lose the event based off of this.
I'm fairly familiar with the M4 platform. Just got out of basic training, shot it quite a bit. Was able to get to the range prior to the event to just practice. It's always been, never been the best, but it's always been a strength. So it's one of those events where I feel like I just stayed consistent. You know, I held my own. You're in the presence of special forces. You know, those guys are conducting the stress shoot. So there's a little bit of intimidation there too. I mean, these guys are just being around them a whole nother level, you can tell. And yeah, we got to use the M17. Never used that before. Of course, carrying around the water jug with you everywhere, and target shooting on a whole nother level. There were a lot more factors involved than just trying to, you know, aim down range and hit the target.
right after that stress shoot, a helicopter picked us up, a Black Hawk, and we boarded the Black Hawk. Super cool experience. Riding that Black Hawk, I just kind of remember being in the Black Hawk thinking to myself, what did I kind of do to deserve this? I feel like I have to win this thing, you know, I just be like, as a reward to myself. You kind of get off the Black Hawk like you would, you know, in a combat situation, and it was super cool to kind of have experienced that with the amount of spectators that were there.
Excitement, like a little kid. I've never been on a helicopter before, much less a Black Hawk, so I honestly, that was one of my favorite points in that day. That was a lot of fun, and that was so cool.
The bird takes off, we get our land nav brief, and then we go right into it. 3 points, 90 minutes, sounds easy, but our points were spread out super far.
So I went in there with a little bit of confidence. I wish I could say it was fun, but Washington State adds a whole new level of difficulty to trying to find points for land navigation. So it was extremely challenging.
When we get into the ruck, this is the kind of the compounding event where all of those things that you did before are going to now show on the ruck.
All right, let's bring it in.
It's a 35-pound ruck, and it's a 7-mile trip.
Congratulations on all the work you guys put in thus far. Great job. I just want to get a quick roll call so that I know who we're grading.
You have to tap into a pretty dark space, and it's just you and the dark trail, you know, in front of you for 7 miles.
All right, here we go. Get ready. Get set. Begin.
Going into this, I felt prepared. I remember during the land nav course, when I was running back after finding that last point, I was like, okay, maybe not overwork yourself because you're going to get ready to go into a 7-mile ruck march, and you want to be relatively fresh and prepared for this because you don't know what kind of fight your competitors are going to put up. I knew that there were some things along the way that I may have lost points on in the Best Warrior competition, and I knew that this was the opportunity for me to collect on any points that I may have lost.
It was around that point that my sponsor, Sergeant Bradle, pulled me aside and was like, Smith, at this point, you have a pretty good chance of winning this. He's like, you got this. You need to win this. This is like, come out on top of this, and it's probably going to be it. So that was my motivation. I was obviously exhausted. I think we all were at that point, fairly tired, but definitely had that drive and motivation. That was the final stretch. And, just keeping that in my mind, just keep going, making sure to maintain pace and have that little carrot in front of me that, hey, this could be a win. I was glad the day was, it was a long day, so I was certainly glad it was over. And again, we were exhausted and tired. There's definitely that air of excitement. I think we all were anticipating the end and seeing who won, and that energy was certainly there, so that you could tell everyone was a little bit excited to hear those results. I went into it with an air of confidence, confident in my abilities as far as land navigation. I felt pretty strong in physical ability, the ACFT, the ruck, but there were there was so much more to the event. You know, like I said, with the board and the essay and just the stress shoot, exposure to things that I'm way out of my comfort zone.
Best warrior winner for the enlisted soldier, Special Smith.
That moment of realization, or oh gosh, I won this. Like, I was probably as shocked as anyone else at that point. But yeah, it felt great. Indescribable.
I thought to myself, hey, you know what? No matter what the outcome is going to be, I gave it my 100%. Right? I gave it everything that I could, and
Best warrior NCO.
I'm proud of my performance. It was really cool hearing my name and you know, getting that award pinned on me. It was a really good feeling, you know, because it was a representation of all of the hard work that I've put into this, all of the training that I've done to put in to lead up to this moment, and the super cool supportive support system that I have, you know, coming from my family and my leadership.